just as tough and disappointing as a loss, that I can remember on Saturday, just because we didn't see that coming. I thought that we had a really good week of preparation. And on game day, I mean, juices were flowing. The guys were excited about being there. We really worked hard to make it after that bye week, the last 3 games, the finish to the season, and we're just moving forward full throttle. You look up at the scoreboard at the end of the first quarter, and it's 27-0, and so just a really, really, really tough day. And credit to Western for sure. I mean, those guys are on a big-time roll, coming off of a tough year. There was no dip in their roll. I think they'd won 4 straight prior to our game, and obviously taking the opening kickoff back, was tough. And, we talked about with our team, and it's true for every team, but there are 5 to 6 plays. Normally there's 5 to 6 plays in a game that you can look back on and say, wow, those were the difference. And, one of the challenging and honestly one of the fun things about football is that you don't know when those plays are going to arise. And so you don't know who's going to have the opportunity to make those plays. So we've really been talking about that. And again, I mean, it stumped me. I've been coaching for a while now, and, I didn't know that those first 5 plays were going to be the very first play of the game. And maybe our first third down, we had a 3rd and 3, we're moving the ball, and we got on 3rd and 3, we got 2 yards. And so made the decision to punt and pin them. And then their first 2 third downs, I think, were 3rd and 8, and they got a big gain, and then 3rd and, I think, 15. And you want them to be in 3rd and 8. We did the right things to get them into that and to get them into 3rd and 15. And then I think they got 16 on the 3rd down, and then I think the next play scored. And so, those 5 or 6 plays all happened right away. At halftime, it was just an unconscionable score. Now, I will say this, and sometimes we have to try to quantify or measure the immeasurables or the intangibles, but as tough as a day as it was, there was not negativity. There was not infighting and finger pointing and or anything like that. And that's tough because these guys put everything into this season and wanted that bad. And then sort of have that sort of massive disappointment, it's difficult to not be negative and to point fingers and to sort of just, implode. And that didn't happen. They've stuck together, as a family, and aren't giving up on each other, and didn't quit during the game. And so it was a really tough day, but there's some intangible positives that we need to continue to build on because we're going to get there. I wholeheartedly believe it, and been snapping my fingers, trying to make it happen, and I think I'm bone on bone now, but it's going to happen.
From a coaching perspective, off the bye week, is it more concerning that you guys were well rested and weren't able to come out? Does that make a difference in your mind? Just because, like you said, you had 2 weeks to prepare for the game, and rest and keep healthy. Does that kind of factor into anything that, how you look at the loss or that game?
No, I wouldn't change anything about how we handled the bye week. It came at a good time, after the Central loss, and then again going into the last 3 weeks. We spent time that bye week with giving the guys some time off to heal and just get refreshed and to really make it, a push for the finish. And we recruited, but we handled that week well. And Monday was, one of our most energized practices I think that we've had, and it was really good. And Tuesday was good, and you go through the week, and I know that this sounds counterintuitive, but we were ready to play that game. You know, I'm not ashamed to say that we were ready, you know, for that game, and but we weren't. So, right, I mean, I understand what that says about me and, you know, my take on things, but I'm not hiding behind that. I just really believe that we were ready for that game, and again, I think that it was maybe the depth of confidence, the depth of belief, the you know, I think that we can grow in our competitive intensity. You know, I think those are all areas that we definitely need to grow. But no, I think that we handled and prepared the way that we needed to.
In the first quarter, I mean, you said, you know, the team didn't get down on each other, but did you want to see some more fight? And what did you want to see when, you know, they put some points up pretty quick? Obviously, you know, that continued on throughout the half. I mean, what was your sense on the sideline kind of when things started going south?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's I think that might be some of the, you know, the lack of the, you know, the competitive fire, and I don't know if it's because it's happened, you know, throughout the season, throughout the course of the careers where, yeah, I don't have, I'm not able to put a finger on that, but, you know, we've done it this season before, and, you know, I just believe that the guys have the ability, that they've put so much into it. I really want them to be able to fall back and get into that state of mind that they've worked so hard, they've put so much into it, that they're putting their foot down, and when something negative happens, they're not going to let anything stop them from achieving, accomplishing what they want to do on that day. And that's where we still need to grow. You know, the thing about it is we are at the point where the guys can look themselves in the face, and we can look at ourselves in the eyes and say, we did do the things from January, you know, up until the season that can allow us to look at ourselves, you know, in the mirror and to look each other in the eye and know that we had done all the things to be able to say we are going to fight for this. You know, I mean, it's one thing when you've kind of, you know, cut corners and you really haven't done everything that you could have done. You know, then there's that pit in your stomach, in your gut, where it's like, yeah, you know, I'm really, you know, not in the position to go for this completely because of my lack of preparation over the course of the year. But I believe we put ourselves in that position, but haven't been able to put my finger on then, you know, why we're not able to just put our foot down and say, not today, you know, and to fight back with everything that we have, because it's, you know, I just refuse to believe that was everything that we have. I mean, that wasn't. But again, I'm not trying to point fingers, because our guys had every intention of coming in here, you know, and winning that football game. Yeah, so I don't think that we were shell shocked in a way where, I mean, we were shocked, but it was, you know, we knew what was going on. You know, it wasn't like that we were all of a sudden in this fog and haze right away. I don't believe that. But I mean, it pretty quickly got to a tough spot.
What's the message at halftime that you give them? I mean, is it, you know, you stay positive for the team that you have all season. Is that something that you try to do too during the game? I mean, you know, how do you try to talk to them when, you know, scoring was so lopsided?
Yeah, you know, it's, you know, and we've kind of had this message before too. It's just, who are we as men? You know, we're not going to tuck tail and run. We're going to regroup and play. You know, I just talked about playing hard and competing, you know, and, you know, Coach Mack did a great job. Just heard him talking to the guys about it's not, you know, everything that's happened is irrelevant at this point. At this moment in time, the only thing that we can control is, you know, moving forward and playing the next play and playing hard and competing. And so, you know, those are the things that we talked about at halftime. That's not the halftime speech that we want to be giving, you know, to be honest with you. It just, you know, Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, but that's the only response that you can have at that point. You know, we're not going to just sit there with our head between our legs and hope that the game gets over. I mean, we got to continue to grow and get better and fight and compete. So it's a tough day.
You know, you put the, you lost as much as on you guys as the players. You know, thought about changing things up at the beginning of games, doing some things different. You know, how do you try to kind of evaluate? You know, when this has happened a couple of times, you say, you know, throwing some different things out there. I mean, you know, what do you try to do to evaluate that from your, you know, creating you guys and trying to kind of change things up? Because obviously
We did.
Yeah.
We did. I mean, that was part of our plan, was starting fast. And so, you know, both defensively and offensively, we did change things up, and we did have a plan to be aggressive. You know, again, I think it was the first 2 third downs, we got into a 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 15. I mean, you can't ask for, you know, a better situation than that. But then, you know, weren't able to close out, you know, those plays. And, you know, you can put it on me on 4th and 1. You know, we could have gone for it, and maybe that's one of those 5 to 6 plays.
I was gonna
You know?
ask you about that. You know, obviously, so early in the game, you know, how would it went that way, but did you kind of think afterwards maybe?
Yeah, always.
Try that would have been a point, you know, obviously give it back to give them a short field, but, you know,
Yeah,
that would have changed the, you know, stop because they had the kickoff return right there. And was that something that after you were like?
Yeah, I mean, it was 7-0, so maybe it would have been 51-7 us if I go for it on 4th down. You know, we'll never know.
Is that drastic?
Hey, why not? 52 to 7. But no, to be honest, you know, thought about that and thought about it before we made the decision. And you know, I think the ball was on the 47. You know, right in there. So said, hey, let's punt it. We're down 7-0. Let's not put our defense, you know, in a sudden change situation right off the bat like this. So it give them a short field and go to 14. It's frustrating. It's 3rd and 3. Get it. If we don't, I'm going to punt it. And, you know, we had the ball down, I think, on the 3.5-yard line, you know. And so I think it went the way that you know, we thought that it could. But, yeah, of course, you wonder if it could have been 52-7 us if we'd gone for it on 4th down. So when I say that we are changing things up in terms of a fast start, you know, that didn't mean that we were going to get reckless or careless. You know, we weren't going to start with an onside kick. Not that that's careless or reckless if you feel as though you're going to get it, but you know, and I get a little bit more comfortable when we start getting into the, you know, the 30 to 40 range and hopefully closer, you know, to 30 or 35, you know, with going for it. You know, that's that spot where, you know, the field goal versus the pin punt. I think we had one a couple of games ago, you know, where we went for it. Well, I think it was Northern, you know, where should we pin them down there, you know, or if it goes in the end zone like the previous one had, we would have gained, you know, not very much yardage in terms of pinning them down, and so we went for it and had a guy open and, you know, didn't complete it. Yeah, no, I promise you, I wonder about what we ate at the pregame meal and what time we arrived on Friday, and you know, what we've said to them, you know, for the previous week and a half, all of those things.
From your perspective, just Reggie, you know, as a freshman, not freshman, but having a field leader during these situations, how do you think he kind of handled that? I mean, he was fighting out there. I mean, he took that to try to die, you know, fumbled. But he really tried to get that touchdown, and he was fighting out there until the end.
Oh yeah, no question. And that's, you know, those are some of the not questions, but conversations, you know, that I was able to have with him, you know, from kind of halftime, you know, and getting into the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter, it was just like, you know, Reggie, here is an awesome opportunity for you to develop more as a leader, you know, keep fighting, keep leading, keep growing, all of those things. And, you know, he did. He kept fighting. I can't think of guys who didn't. You know, it wasn't that, you know, our guys were we're playing and there was effort and whatnot, but there are more levels of competitive anger, that we need to get to.
Coach, defensively, Coach Purdue, kind of played you guys all season. What, again, early too, those third and longs, what has to be kind of different? How do you kind of try to get that part of that specific part of the game? How do you kind of focus on that?
Yeah, so we're continuing to learn our lessons and learn from situations. We wanted to be in a third and long on the third play of the game, and we wanted a pressure in that situation, and we didn't. The pressure didn't come off the way it should have, and and then it was an easy throw and catch. And you'd like to tackle it if it gets caught, you'd like to get it tackled right there at that spot, and instead of a 29-yard gain, which was the other negative to that. So your question has us, starting last night, we've, reworked the way we assess third down, and we're looking at it from three different angles, both how we look at it and then how we can attack it. It's been a goal of ours each game to win our third down challenge, and we've not done it. We've gotten close a few times. I think we won it once, but we've not gotten back to that since early in the season. And so, we're going to continue to build on the things that we feel like we are doing better. I don't know if I can say well, but better. And then we're really going to really attack third down, in terms of our approach to it.
Is the key generating more pass rush and then going one sack the last 4 games?
Yeah, you've got to get to the quarterback. You've got to, if you're blocked 1-on-1, you've got to be a factor in that quarterback's ability to throw the football. Maybe not necessarily with a sack, but there's hurry situations. There's moving him out of the pocket. This quarterback, we knew going in that if he got flushed, he did a great job with his feet, and then he could scramble for the necessary yards or find somebody later. And we knew that, and we failed in that situation as well. So you've got to get pressure. I think you have to mix coverage, meaning that you've got to be in some man situations, and because that's what goes with the pressure. And then you've got to disguise that at times, and you've got to be able to rush 3 or 4 and play coverage and change the quarterback's eyes post snap so that he what he thinks he's going to get is not after the ball snapped.
And then, they had quite a few long plays in the passing game. Where did you kind of see anything that was kind of a consistent error, or just different things on different plays?
Yeah, different things on different plays. The first one on back, we were in a man situation. We were in an aggressive run stop call for that, and we isolate him, and one-on-one, he's got that guy, wherever he goes on the field, and that's a talented football player. I think he's two or third in the league in receiving, and we know that. We're not going to back down from those challenges. If the guy's in the number 2 spot and you're the safety, your responsibility is to deal with that. And so, so then we played some coverage and later on, and we, had some undisciplined eyes in one situation, there was a different thing kind of in each one that created the situation, and it happened to different guys, and then we had to respond because the game wasn't over, and now as we sit here today, the season's not over. So we're still in a status of needing to respond.
And from your perspective on the defense, when you guys fall behind, how did you kind of think you handled this? Do you want to see something different from your players? What was kind of the thought when they scored a couple in a row? How do you guys respond differently, I guess, or what did you see? Yes,
they scored 27. They scored in their first. Well, they scored every time they had the ball in the first half, and so, at the 27th point is where it hit me a little bit different. To me, up until that point, we were grinding away, and trying to execute our game plan and do what we set out to do and recover from that situation. Then at 27, when you're in that situation, it's a different dynamic. Now we've got to make sure you start looking at the sideline and were we fighting? Yeah, we were fighting, but were we fighting enough? Were we competing? We were competing, but were we competing enough? They were competing more. They were fighting more. Did they want it more? I don't know about that, but they were doing what we were doing, but doing it better and more. And so we had to address that and respond. And so the last 2 touchdowns of the many that we gave up in the second quarter, there were opportunities for us to really answer the challenge of those moments. Quarterback scramble, another third down, where we had made some adjustments and made some corrections and tried to address those, and we didn't there. Those were probably more disappointing, because of addressing it than some of the earlier stuff. And I'm talking about everything's disappointing, so what's more disappointing? So, but, then the second half comes out, and as Coach said, we have to respond to that situation. And our guys continued to play. They believed, there wasn't attitude or issue or anything like that on the sideline. I mean, I feel like we've got a group of guys that believe in what we're doing. And, and we continued to play and we continued to execute. We really didn't alter. You always adjust, but we didn't alter what we were doing. We believed in what we were doing. And, and in the second half, we played better football, and that's where we stand right now.
And what kind of challenge does Ball State present?
They do throw the ball. They do throw the ball well. They've got a couple pretty good wide receivers. I think that they've proven that they can offensively. They can do some good things with the Akron win, and then following that up with the Central Michigan win. So they're going to have. They've had moments of really strong confidence offensively during the course of the season. Up front, they're not a young group. Completely up front. They've got a lot of redshirt guys, whether they're sophomores or juniors or seniors. So they've been in the system, in the program for a while. Quarterback's a little bit younger, but he seems to be doing a pretty good job. Interesting, one statistic is, I don't know the numbers, but I think like 9 of 11 on fourth down. So, I mean, when they really need to get something, they can get after it. Their third down percentage hasn't been as successful, but they've recovered on fourth down, so.
And then offensively,
Well, there just continues to be so many coachable moments throughout the course of the game, but I really felt, walking off the field on Saturday that as a passer, he took a huge step. His completion percentage was right around 64, and, those were not throws. I think we had 1 bubble screen completion. We had 1 incompletion. And so those were throws that were down the field. I thought as a passer he did that was his best game. There's just situational moments that we can just get better on, and most of the time those are on third down. But, getting ourselves into better third down situations continues to be the thing we got to focus on. There's just too many negative plays, where there was a lack of execution or a penalty, We had sacks, but those sacks were not just because we were dropping back. They were, snaps and things like that on run plays where, Reggie had to eat the ball. And, those are the moments that we got to just continue to learn from and understand how the whole game is shaped because of, those negative plays that put us in tough positions and how the momentum just, gets out of your favor in a hurry when that happens. So, but Reggie, again, I mean, he just kept competing, and he was really good, I felt, with ball security, until the end of the game. He forced one in the end zone when we're trying to get a score at the end, and then obviously he's trying to jump from about the 4-yard line, just competing his butt off, and that's those are just coachable moments again. His first interception, it's one that I don't think is a bad interception if there is such a thing, because it's third and long. He gets flushed from the pocket. It's a scramble drill. He throws it, 35 yards down the field. You hate to say it's as good as a pump, but it's close. And so, that's something, that we'll talk about is that, but also the things that happen at the end of the game, because we can't have those happen again, earlier in the game. But I thought he played better. And there's just going to be so many things that, as a fan in the stands, you're not seeing that he's going to get better at and learn from and be better, this week moving forward.
And just, in that first half, weren't able to get any points on the board, obviously. What was kind of prevented you guys from kind of finishing off one of those drives? Do you have a sense, kind of review tape, what happened?
Yeah, you watch the film and you see +4, a gain of 4, a gain of 5, a gain of 8, a gain of 6, a gain of 8. You know, I mean, it's just consistent. I mean, we had a few explosives in the first 2 to 3 drives. Second play of the game, I mean, like Coach said, we were trying to be aggressive. You know, we want to play action pass, hit Tyrese for a 21-yard gain, and trying to get in their territory in a hurry. But the thing that happened is you got that negative play intermixed in there, and that's the drive killer, you know, that we just can overcome. I mean, we're in, you know, 2nd and 12, and all of a sudden we take a sack, and now we're 3rd and 20, you know. And so, it's that one play within a series, because the first 3 series, I think we got some first downs. It wasn't a 3 and out. And then, you know, kind of what Coach McCaslin, he talked to me about that, you know, yesterday, about that, you know, kind of hit that 27-point mark, you know, where it was 27-0. And I think that's when you kind of get out of your game plan a little bit. And then that's when we had our 3 and outs. You know, we're trying to force the issue a little bit too much, and that doesn't help, you know. So I felt like in the 3rd quarter we got back to just, hey, we got to execute what we do. And, you know, then you saw us move the ball, get us in good situations. And again, our guys competed, because we had our backs to the wall again in some moments, especially on 3rd down in the 3rd and 4th quarter. And we found ways to be 5 for 7, you know. And so, you know, I was proud of the guys for that. And it's just, in this program right now, it's about finding the positives and continue to build on them, and like Reggie passing, and just continue to compete as a whole team and as an offense, and then all those coachable moments, and just they can't happen again. You know, whether it's a position group, the wide receivers, you know, learning from another guy's mistake. We just got to keep getting better from the mistakes that happen, across the board.
What did you tell him about that, John? I mean, I know he was a high hurdler champion, but
Yeah.
4 yards,
I mean,
1 yard too many, maybe?
Yeah. He's just trying to compete, you know, and so he's just got to be smarter about it, you know, tuck the ball away, and it's great. I mean, you know, run around him is what I would tell him, because that's what he does best.
Okay. And for next week, what do you kind of see out of Ball State's defense with kind of looking at them?
Yeah, I feel like they play a pretty good team game with their offense. Just watching how they play ball, you know, field position. The thing that jumped out at me is, you got a Western Michigan team that just jumped on us in the 1st quarter. Well, these guys had done that to them, and so, you know, it's a team that, you know, comes out swinging on both sides of the ball, and is going to try to get all over you, and so they can play their game. And kind of let the game come to them. So it's, again, important for us to start fast and really focus on that, and actually follow through with it.